Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you've been thinking about buying a condo in Ocean City or already own one, I need you to stop doing what you're doing right now and listen to this, because this could literally save you thousands of dollars. Today we're talking about something called a reserve study. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry, you're not alone. But here's the thing. It is now the law in Maryland. It is actively affecting buildings right here in Ocean City. And some owners are already staring down bills of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and $40,000. Yep, you heard that right. So let's break it all down. What a reserve study is, why Maryland passed this law, what it means for your wallet, and most importantly, what you need to look for before you buy. So let's go. Okay, so imagine you buy a condo in Ocean City. You're on the 8th floor, ocean views, perfect. Life is good. But that building you're in, it's got a roof. It's got elevators. It's got a parking garage, a pool, a seawall, hallways, balconies. All that stuff that everyone in the building shares. That's called the common elements. Now here's the question. When those things break down, and trust me, in a saltwater beach environment, they will break down, who pays for it then? That's where a reserve study comes in. A reserve study is basically a professional inspection and financial roadmap for a building. A qualified independent third-party firm comes in, evaluates every single shared component of the building, figures out how old it is, how much life it has left, and how much it will cost to repair or replace. Then they calculate how much money the HOA has. That's where your homeowners association needs to be putting aside every single year to cover those future costs. Think of it like a doctor's visit for the building. You get a diagnosis, a treatment plan, and a bill. The money that gets set aside, that goes into what's called a reserve fund, basically a savings account for the building's future repairs. So why is this suddenly a big deal? Well, we need to go back to June 2021, and if you remember this, it was absolutely devastating. The Champlain Tower South in Surfside, Florida, a 12-story oceanfront condo, collapsed in the middle of the night. 98 people lost their lives. And when investigators dug into why it happened, a big part of the answer was this: years of deferred maintenance and an unfunded reserve account. The building needed major repairs. The money wasn't there, and no one acted. That was a wake-up call for the entire country. Maryland responded by passing House Bill 107 in April 22. And for Ocean City, which is full of older oceanfront and bayside buildings sitting in saltwater, high humidity environment, this law hit hard. And here's what the law requires. All condominiums, HOAs, and housing cooperatives in Maryland must get an independent reserve study. If your building hadn't had one since October 1, 2018, you had to get one completed by October 1st, 2023. That was the deadline. And after that, reserve studies must be completed, updated every 5 years. And here's the kicker. Associations have just 3 years to actually fund their reserves to the level the study recommends. So the clock is ticking, folks. And for a lot of Ocean City buildings, that clock started in late 2023. Now let's talk money, because this is where it gets really important for buyers. When you own a condo, you pay a monthly HOA fee, sometimes called a regular assessment or a condo fee. This covers the day-to-day operating costs of the building: insurance, landscaping, trash, utilities in common areas, pool maintenance, maybe your front desk. It's predictable. You budget for it. It doesn't surprise you. That is not a special assessment. A special assessment is a completely separate additional charge that the HOA board can vote to impose on all unit owners when a building needs a large infusion of cash that the regular monthly fees just can't cover. Here's an example. Let's say a reserve study comes back and says Hey, this building needs 2.75 million in work over the next 3 years. If the reserve fund is sitting at basically zero, that money has to come from somewhere. So the board calls a vote, and boom, a special assessment. Every unit owner gets a bill for their share. Depending on how many units are in the building, that cost could be $5,000, $10,000, $30,000. We've even seen reports here in Ocean City of special assessments as high as $58,000 per unit. And here's what makes it extra stressful. Special assessments often come with a payment schedule. You might owe $10,000 over 2 years, but you still owe it. And if you're trying to sell your unit while a special assessment is active, that's something you absolutely have to disclose to buyers. So regular assessment, monthly condo fees, expected, budgeted. Special assessment, it's a surprise bill. It can be massive, tied to the building's financial health. You got it? Good. So now let's talk about what you need to do as a buyer. All right, buyers, this is the section I really need you to pay attention to. Pull out your phone and take notes if you have to. When you make an offer on a condo in Ocean City, you're legally entitled to receive what's called a resale certificate from the association. This is your treasure map. It contains critical financial information about the building. And by Maryland law, it must include disclosures about any special assessments, past, current, or pending. Here are the 5 things you absolutely need to know about and look for. Number 1, has a reserve study been completed? If a building still hasn't done its reserve study, that's a red flag. It means they may be about to get a major financial shock, and you could be buying right into it. Number 2, what's the reserve fund balance? You want to know how much money is actually sitting in that reserve account. A low balance compared to what the study recommends, that's a warning sign. And number 3, is there a current or pending special assessment? You can ask that directly. Look at the resale certificate. If there's one in place, find out the total amount and how much is still left to be paid, because whoever owns a unit is on the hook. Number 4, who pays the special assessment at closing? This is negotiable. Sometimes seller will pay it off at closing. Sometimes they split it with the buyer, or sometimes they try to pass the whole thing to you. Know what you're agreeing to before you sign. Number 5, when is the next reserve study due? Remember, they're required every 5 years. If one was just done and the fund is underfunded, more increases are coming. If one is due soon, there could be new surprises around the corner. Here's my advice. Don't skip this step. I've seen buyers fall in love with an ocean view and forget to ask about the building's finances. A gorgeous condo with a $4,000 special assessment hanging over it is a very difficult purchase. It's way more difficult than it looks on Zillow. Work with a knowledgeable real estate agent, someone who actually understands Ocean City's market and these laws. And make sure you're reviewing every line of the resale certificate before you close. Now look, I don't want to scare you away from Ocean City. This is still one of the most amazing places on the East Coast to own property. Beachfront living, rental income potential, incredible community. I really love this place. And honestly, the reserve study law is actually a good thing long term. It means the buildings are being maintained. It means the days of a condo association quietly letting things fall apart and hoping nobody notices are over. Well-funded buildings hold their value better, they're safer, and they're better investments. The key is just going in with your eyes open. And the guidance of your realtor, of course. A building that's already gone through its reserve study, has a healthy fund, and has no pending special assessments, that's a building you can feel confident about, and now you know exactly how to check that. If this video helped you out, please hit that like button and subscribe. I put out content like this every week, every Wednesday, about buying, selling, owning real estate right here in Ocean City, Maryland. If you've got questions about a specific building, if you're thinking about making a move, drop in a comment below or reach out to me directly. I'm always here to help.